Hello everybody, this is Howard the Teaserking coming to you with week one of college, just talking about Teaserking, just going over a few things. I'm putting a lot into my Facebook and my Twitter accounts, and I just wanted to make sure everybody understands what I'm doing there, so in case I just don't do a video, because I normally do the videos and paste them into Facebook and Twitter, but I put in some deals and other things together, so I just want everybody to be aware of it. So we had our first winner with South Florida last week. They look good. They were a little bit sleepy, which I was concerned about traveling to the West Coast, and then they seemed to get up like 42-16, and then they just like ran it into the line. So the new offensive coordinator, Flowers, is a great runner. If they would just let him run, he'd just go crazy. Very hard to tackle one-on-one. Anyway, so this will be the first college, the big college week. My lock's going Thursday night with, I believe, a Saturday game. So it's a Thursday-Saturday lock for college. A few other plays going. I could add during the day if I'm trying to keep an eye on the weather with the hurricane or whatever you call it in Houston, how it's going to affect other games. It was last year or the year before, there was hurricanes about the 5th or 6th week in North Carolina and Florida, and all those games went under. They could barely move the ball. So if I see that's happening, I'm going to add some maybe unders to the plays based on the weather, so I'll keep that in mind. If you want to make 2 payments, you're thinking of buying the season, it's $1,500, it's too much, or it's hard to pay it. Certainly you can make me 3 payments of $500 or 2 of $750 if it's easier, as long as you pay it, and within, let's say, a month or so. And I'll give you a separate password that'll take you about halfway through it if you pay half, or a quarter of the way through, a third of the way if you pay by thirds. So I'm willing to help there. Some people don't have PayPal. You can certainly use MoneyGram or Western Union to pay me. Not a problem there. I would just need it before the week, so if you send it on, let's say, a Monday, I'd get it by like Wednesday or Thursday would be fine, and I would email you a password as opposed to online. Not a problem. Bringing in different methods this year. I've been looking a lot at the offensive and defensive points, and for example, like South Florida scores 40 points a game, but they give up about 30. And they're playing San Jose State, who gives up about 35 a game. So that's why I chose South Florida, going explosive offense, playing a weak defense. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking a lot more at the points. I always look in college for the quarterback, the young kid who, like San Jose State, the kid, that was his first game. Here's Quentin Flowers. Boom, I love that. The only thing keeping it from a lock was that it was on the West Coast. And anytime a team travels coast to coast, it's always hard. I remember Stanford, I think they played Virginia or Wake Forest or something on the East Coast, and they made the game like noon, which was like 9 in the morning for them, and they get upset. And then the next year, they return the favor, and Wake Forest, I believe, flies back to Stanford, and they make the game 10 o'clock at night, so it was like a 1 o'clock in the morning for the East Coast, and they killed them, big. So keep in mind of that. Anytime you got to travel coast to coast, you must take that into effect. It's going to hurt the bet, unless it's like a playoff game. But anytime you have that, when I fly to Vegas and I'm in Michigan, it's always, I get jet lagged and tired watching the games. If I leave on like a Saturday morning and I get there and I'm there for the Saturday games, and I'm still very tired. So it's very tiring anytime you move your schedule. I'll keep an eye on the new quarterbacks to see how they play. How's this kid at San Jose State? Did he look good? Did he He threw 3 interceptions. So you keep an eye on him. It's just because they haven't played quarterback before in college, let's say, or it's their first game. That's always a little bit, you got to get used to it. After 4 or 5 games, I'll have a better look, but I'm keeping trends on that, as well as how their offense and defense is. In the pros, I use my stats to see the new team that's hot versus in the teaser, or who's cold in the teaser. And I'll do that. But in college, I kind of use that trigger, but now I'm looking at how, because there's so much changeover in the teams, I'm using the points on offense and defense a little bit more for the overs and unders, as well as, oh wait, this is a bad team. They're giving up 40 points a game. You know, I don't want to bet them, but you might want to bet them based on the name. You know, let's say Michigan State. I mean, who knows how they are now? Their quarterback and their defense isn't what it used to be, but they're still Michigan State. So people might be betting them because they're Michigan State, but now the defense that let up 20 points is letting up 35 points. Now they're not the playoff Michigan State. They're the bottom of the Big Ten Michigan State. So now you bet them differently. But that's what the stats will show, what's going on. So that's what I've been up to, looking at that, studying that, getting all that ready. Like I said, week 1 I have 6 games going, 1 lock. I could have another couple of games based on the weather and things. And then I'm all set for the pros. I already have a lock for the pros, as well as I might have 2 locks. You know, it depends what's going on. Basically, just keep in mind, the biggest thing you're trying to do is increase your bankroll. You're starting with 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Your goal is to move the 1,000 to 5,000. And so you watch my picks, you bet more on my stronger plays than on the weaker ones. You don't bet them all the same, because I might, if we do it that way, you don't have to even go 50%. I can go 30%, but I hit my lock for 10 units and I lose 2 3-unit plays, and I'm 33, I'm 1 for 3, and we're making money because we won 10 units and lost 6 units. That's the key to it. Increase the bankroll. Get your betting size. Do not let one game hurt you. I've heard that so many times. I got all my money on Clemson, and then Clemson loses, and I've lost all my money. That's ridiculous. You can't lose all your money on one game. It's got to be a percentage, and it's just another win-or-loss, and then we pick a lot of winners. I pick a lot of winners. So basically I'm looking at that, and that's what you've got to keep in mind. So it's betting percentage, it's increasing the bankroll. That's what we're trying to do. That's what you should be trying to do. That's what I do. And you see it in my bets. If you look at week 1, I'm playing 5 units and 7 units, and by week 6 it's now 10, 12, 15 units, and the units are higher, more per unit. So you know, we want to get a good feel of the new quarterbacks, the new coach. How's Baylor going to do with the Temple coach? How's Temple going to do without the Temple coach? One game that I got to keep an eye on is this Penn State-Akron game. I read where Penn State wants to try to score an average of 47 points a game, which is good. It means they're not going to pull their quarterback with a 28-point lead and let the other team get back into it. So they're going to try to average 47. So initially, I think the spread's too high against Akron. It was 32. I noticed it came down to 30. The problem is Akron was an injured team last year. They have a very good quarterback in Woodside, and with all the guys coming back, and Tommy Bowden's a good coach, and then you have D'Amato as the defensive coach. So I'm a little bit scared of Penn State laying 26 or 24. I'd have to get it under 21. But if you looked at the points, Penn State is going to score 40 a game, and Akron gave up 35 a game. But what you read into it and you see it was because of injuries. and all those guys are back, plus the guys who played, they could be a much stronger team, especially with Bowden as coach. So it's not like if they were playing Buffalo, a team that really is bad, I would lay the points. But Akron, it's hidden. They're not as bad as you think. They're not like the bottom MAC team. They got a very good quarterback. That's the other thing. If they were playing a team with a new quarterback, that would be a different story also. So you watch some of these games, the veteran against the new quarterback, I want to take the veterans in. Now there's an interesting one, Notre Dame and Temple. Both quarterbacks are new. And I'm almost thinking it's an under game because I don't know what to expect out of Temple, but I know they're going to have a good defense because they got a defensive coach. Notre Dame, here's a new quarterback coming in. He's going to light up Temple, a new quarterback. I mean, I don't think Kaiser could have lit him up, but a new quarterback. So I'm thinking that's going to be a pretty low-scoring game because Temple, with a great defense and a new quarterback's probably going to run the ball a lot, safe passes. They're not going to score a lot. They're going to try to use time of possession. Their defense is outstanding, or I would imagine it still is the first year until the coach has his players, and then you see what type of new coach it is. But I know it's a defensive coach that they hired. So that's the unfortunate part. If Matt Rule was still the coach, and you're getting 18 points or so with Temple, I mean that's a lock right there. I mean if they had Walker at quarterback, if they had last year's team with Walker at quarterback and defense, and Notre Dame with a new quarterback, and all these kids transferring from Notre Dame, there's problems at Notre Dame. I mean they only won 3 or 4 games. How are they such a strong favorite over Temple, who won their conference? I mean they're a very good team. So I don't think their defense is going to slip too much. So it's probably a very good under bet. So when you have 2 experienced quarterbacks and kind of average defenses, you go over. When you have an inexperienced playing an experienced quarterback, you take the experienced quarterback. Hence why I took West Virginia against Virginia Tech. You have a good quarterback who's transferred from Florida, Greer, for West Virginia, and you have a new quarterback for Virginia Tech. You guys never played. How is he going to come and blow out West Virginia? I know they have a good defense, Virginia Tech, and I know they have a very good offensive coach. Fuentes is a very good offensive coach, but I just don't see a kid who's never played just lighting up West Virginia, and West Virginia, who supposedly has a very good team. This quarterback played at Florida, was very good, and so now he's ready to go. I don't see how the young kid's going to blow out the experienced kid. It's usually the other way around. I wouldn't be surprised if West Virginia wins the game straight out. You're getting 11 points, but how is Virginia Tech going to blow out West Virginia with a new quarterback? It doesn't add up. So it's very rare a new quarterback, especially in college, he comes in and all of a sudden he lights it up. And Lamar Jackson at Louisville, he did against like what was it, Coastal Carolina. I mean, it's like a high school team, and then he put up a big number on Florida State, and then as soon as the film got out of, they lost to Clemson. He lost 3 or 4 games, and he didn't really have that big game again. It was all against a couple of weak teams, and then he did well against Florida State. But that's, otherwise I think he's not a great quarterback, put it that way. He put up big numbers. I don't think they really had a running attack, so he was kind of like the running quarterback. And I think Quentin Flowers is just as good as him. Quentin Flowers put up 35 on Florida State last year, which leads me to my last analysis, the Alabama-Florida State game, which you have the video. But in that game, it's the same matchup. It's Florida State couldn't handle Lamar Jackson. They couldn't handle Quentin Flowers, put up 35 on him. And here they got Alabama's quarterback. Good luck handling him. They can't handle that type of quarterback. And he's a very good quarterback. Plus, Florida State's quarterback is not the type that gives Alabama problems. He'll scramble around a little bit, but he's not really accurate. He's not Chad Kelly. and he's not a very good thrower. And they lost Cook. Now, supposedly they have a good freshman, but as soon as he sees Alabama, this ain't high school anymore. I don't care what you are in high school; it's what you get to in college. And then if you can play like Dalvin Cook, then fine. But you have to be seen. So anyway, so that's again why I liked Alabama, the matchup there. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at strong offenses playing weak defenses. I'm looking at weak offenses playing strong defenses. When you have that weak offense against a strong defense, there you go. Take the dog, and the quarterback should be good enough. A few teams that are favorites that I'm a little surprised are like Boston College, Illinois, Vanderbilt. I mean, these don't have much strong offenses or strong quarterbacks. They're pretty good defensively, except for Illinois. And so what are you really going to do with that? I mean, they're not going to blow them out. They don't have the offense to. So it's either a low-scoring game or you take the dog in that situation. One other game, the USC Western Michigan game. That one confuses me also. USC, very good offense. Not quite sure how strong their defense is. Western starting Flacco's brother, but they have a great running back in Franklin. This kid should be a first-round NFL pick. And their defense was super strong last year. So you lose your coach. How bad's the defense going to be? Is the defense... They gave up like 17 a game last year. So that's where you're really going is how weak is Western going to be with the new coach, the new quarterback, and you have the runner. I can see them running Franklin a lot or throwing to him. He's a good pass catcher. And then their defense, they might play a close game because their defense can hold them in. So we'll see what happens. Darnell's good. No question. I'm not knocking him. Pretty balanced. They should have a good running back. How strong their defense, and then what type of game it is. But Western isn't the bottom of the road MAC team that USC is going to spank 52-0. They're a very good MAC team, just losing their coach and their quarterback, and they have a great defense. So that if this was a weak defense, I would take USC, but because they have such a strong defense, Western. Now let's look at week 1 and 2. How is their defense going to play against SC? And are they still going to be a under 20-point a game defense? And if that's the answer, yeah, they're going to be a great defensive team. Then they become an under. They're going to run Franklin. They're going to play defense and not expose their quarterback too much. And that's what I'm going to be watching every team. I watch all 130 teams because there's always matchups that favor you, and it could be Troy, and it could be Appalachian State, it could be bet against New Mexico State. I mean, there's a lot of good matchups when you look at last year's results, so I try to find it. That's where I found Western, and we locked Western 3 or 4 times. I should say I. It's just me, but I like saying we for some reason. But I mean, you have you have that where the teams are very good matchups, so that's what I try to look for. So again, I don't know. Penn State's numbers are a bit high. USC, just because I'm not sure the team they're playing. Akron's pretty weak defensively, but with all the injuries. So when you get their defense back, and the quarterback's very good, so basically you're looking for weak quarterbacks this week, weak defenses, and strong offenses like South Florida at San Jose State. You prefer more of a home team, less travel, especially that first week. And then I still have all my trends, which shows if they're home favorites or home dogs, road favorites and road dogs. So are they a good road dog? Are they a good road favorite? South Florida is a very good road favorite. So is Alabama. So is the team comfortable on the road as a favorite or not? Or so you got to make sure of that. So anyway, that's just checking in. Again, you can pay if you're going to buy the full year, the locks, the pros, the whole package. You can make payment. You can pay half, and then when you pay the other half, I'll give you the other full password. Or else So now it's like 135 a week. If you want the month, I don't remember. It's cheaper. I think 400 or so. But again, feel free to email me and ask questions. I'm playing a card with somebody. I get 20% if we win. And then if you want my advice, it's $25 for the week, or you can do $50 for a month and basically say, who do you like in this game? Who do you like in that game? And I'll tell you, and I'll break down the stats. I got a gentleman customer who asked me about San Diego and Denver, and I gave him all the stats. He's a customer. He's already bought week one, but I haven't played that game yet, so he just simply asked, and I gave him the whole rundown. Here's the trend, head versus head, and I'm more than happy to do that. I'm really here to make you money. I'm here to, this is a business, but my goal is to satisfy the customer and make you money. That's what the goal is. And I say this many times, I'm not a salesman, I'm an analyst. I do this, I analyze the games, and I'm very successful at picking. I was trying to explain to my girlfriend what it is, like how to do it. And I go, well, you got the spread, and then you can adjust it with the teaser. And my role is to figure out the teams. Is this team good as a favorite, or do I take the underdog? Which way do I move the 6 points? And I got to know all the teams and then the lines and then what's better to go up or down. And it's funny, explaining it to her really helped me think about it, going, yeah, what do I do? Because I just do it, right? It's all second nature to me. But that's really what I'm looking at, is understanding the teams, both college and pro, every team, their roles. Are they good at home or on the road or bad? Do you play them or play against them? And then what's their weakness and their strength? And then look at the matchup. And because it's just blank to me, it's just, who's the good team this year? Oh, it looks like Penn State is going to be good. Washington, USC, Ohio State, great defense. Michigan, I wouldn't be surprised if they are a very good team. I'm not sure about, Illinois looks terrible, Rutgers looks terrible. And you go conference by conference. Washington State could be a good sleeper. Made a lot of money with them last year, and they should be even better. They still have their quarterback. So, Colorado. Then you start looking at the first week. Here's Colorado State putting up a 58 on Oregon State, who's a Pac-10 school. So now you're like, oh, Colorado State. They finished strong last year with a couple of blowouts. So I think they're starting to get the offense. So they're a pretty live dog. I would think they'd be a live dog against Colorado. See, now that's where I might not have picked them, but after watching them now, I might pick Colorado State plus the points against Colorado. And Colorado has the backup quarterback. They lost a lot of defense, but they got a good coach, and they got a good running back. So we'll see how strong their defense is. But this is what you learn from this game. So these early games you're learning. Again, we're taking advantage of the new quarterbacks and the weak defenses with these strong quarterbacks and the returning quarterbacks who are good. That's the key. Once we do that, then who knows? It could be West Virginia this year. It could be the team we lock every week. I mean, you don't know. It could be Toledo. It's all whoever comes out. I don't have it preordained. And it's not like you can bet Alabama every week and they win. I mean, they don't. They win in these close games. They win the game, but when it comes to winning by 40, they don't do it. So you've got to be careful with Alabama laying big numbers, because they're not 13-0 against the number every year. It's not how they are. So you can't just find the best team and bet them. But you do look for the strong teams. And when they play the weak teams, that's when you really get them. You got to watch when the good teams play each other, because that's when you get like Tennessee and Georgia, and you go, oh, I'll take the dog, and then one team blows out the other team. So those you got to be careful. You're better off strong versus weak and just pounding the strong teams. So anyway, any questions, please give me an email, hrobins77@gmail.com. Go to www.teaserking.com. You can purchase. Again, if you want to make a payment, just email me and I'll give you, you'll go to PayPal to make the payment, or if you don't have it, Western Union or MoneyGram or whatever, make the payment and I'll email you the password, and from there, when you make the next payment, you'll get the full password. So if you're comfortable doing that. All right, everybody. Well, good luck. Let's have a great year. Looking forward to it. I already 1-0 with South Florida. I'll definitely be betting them a lot this year. I love Quentin Flowers, great quarterback. All right, everybody. Well, good luck. First lock Thursday night. Don't forget it. If you want to buy the lock or the week. If you buy the college week, you'll get the lock. The college is 75. So the college is 75 and the locks are 77 this week. So you're better off just buying the college. You'll get the lock because it's a college lock. Going forward, you don't want to do that. If you just want the locks, pay for the locks, because I'll have a pro lock and a college lock. You'll get those in the lock. If you just play the pros and I have a college lock, you won't get the college lock. And if you just pay the college, you won't get the pro lock. So you either want the locks, buy the locks, or if you want the pros and the locks, then buy the whole package for $135. But it's cheaper than buying the locks for $77 and the pros for $100. So that would be your best option. The best option is really by the year. It's only about $60 a week instead of the $135. So it's really giving you a big discount. But I get you don't want to pay all up front. Maybe you buy a couple weeks at a time when you get paid. So certainly do that. But that's what I'm looking at. So again, any questions or comments, please feel free. www.teaserking.com. Have a great year, and let's build that bankroll big. Thank you, everybody.